Well, I'm down cutting wood out of one of these little gullies. I had some dead poplar that had fallen down, and it's kind of in the way because I need to get through here with the tractor. I got to kind of make a corner and get on the bottom part. And the ground is froze now, so I can get back here good and not do a lot of damage dragging stuff out. But this pop was kind of nice to have. It's a good, like in the morning, you'll have coals in the stove, you throw poplar in, it catches right away, a lot of flame, so you get heat real quick. So it's good to have that on hand, because I'm burning oak otherwise, but oak is good, that'll hold the coals, but poplar takes off fast, heats up quick. I'm using my 55 Rancher today because it's the right saw. Actually, I could have got by with my 51. That's like two inches smaller bar. This is a 20, 18 would have been plenty. Even that new little one would work. But I like this old 55 is really my workhorse for cutting wood, for burning. And I've had that for quite a few years. I was running it now and it stopped on me, and I happened to think, oh yeah, these have a feature in them that you open a little door and it blows hot air on the carburetor so you can preheat the carburetor. And when it happened, the carburetor iced up, so I open the door and then you run fine. But it's a good saw. It's always been a good saw. But it made me think, somebody had asked in the comments or email it was maybe, notice that I run Husqvarnas all the time. And one of the reasons I do is because I understand them. The engineering is great. I understand how they're put together. Odd little things like say the cover screws for the air filter, they're made so that even if they should work loose, there's a rubber O-ring that holds them. They won't come out, so you don't lose the screws. I think that's just a nice design. And like I said, that little preheater for the carburetor, it's excellent design. I understand them. But he was saying, well, why I don't like Stihl. Well, I really, it's not that I don't like Stihl. They make a fine saw. There's a lot of fine saws. Like the John's are fine saws, but they're pretty much a Husqvarna. What I don't, what I don't care for is the Stihl owners, the attitude that they have. They have this weird superior attitude. The saws are fine. It's the owners that just irritate the hell out of me. And it's not the professional logging people. It's these weekend woodcutters. They'll buy themselves some commercial grade, just a homeowner type saw, but it says Stihl on it. So, oh boy, they got a, and the old ones, like say, this is an old one. So this isn't an XP, but it's built like the XPs are now. It's now that they went to all that plastic shit, and that's the same thing that Stihl does. So it isn't really, my theory is you either buy the pro model or you buy an older one that was built like the pro models before they made those consumer models. But I have run Stihls, I know people who have Stihls. The only thing I have against the Stihls, they tend to have that high chain speed, which I guess people think is really, oh man, but you get that rev high and then bog, a red high bog. They don't just power through. They've got to do this screaming and carrying on. Like I said, I told him, I can tell if somebody's a mile away running a Stihl. I know it. I would sooner have the chain run slower. You're burning things up. And if you got a good sharp chain, you don't need that crazy speed. I'm not racing to cut through. I'm looking long term on these things. I don't, like I see people building saws up, porting them and all that, which is part of the problem on a lot of them. They do that to make them, the performance. But anytime you do that, you think you got hot rod, anything, cars, bikes, anything, you're cutting down on the life of them. I'd sooner have something that's going to run for a long time, and that's what this saw has done. It's been a good long-term saw. You know, I don't need a hot rod. I'm not, you know, when I see people doing it, well, like they're comparing saws and they got a log and I'm, you know, well, you don't cut like that. Nobody cuts like that. That's just silly. I mean, I guess it's interesting, but it's got nothing to do with cutting wood. You know, it's just playing with the saws. I don't play with the saws. I cut wood. But that's the deal. You know, I got nothing against Stihl. And in fact, well, okay, I do have one thing in that. You know, like I say, the Stihl owners have an attitude. Well, God, I was in a Stihl shop the one day and talking to a salesman, and goddamn, he had the same attitude. You know, that same kind of belligerent deal. You know, which was weird. But I better get this. I got about a half hour before it gets dark. It was 0 last night. It's about 5 degrees now. So hopefully it's going to warm up next week. But I got to get this cleared out. But that's the deal. I run Husqvarnas because I understand Husqvarnas. I like the engineering that went into them. And I like that they don't change the model line a lot, or they didn't used to anyway. Like a lot of the 51 parts fit on my 55. They're very interchangeable. You know, but I can work on them like nothing. You know, but people always in the comments, oh, you got to get a Stihl. Stihl is best. You know, and that just isn't so. That's just a strange attitude that people have. There's a lot of good saws, but there's just a lot of bad saw owners. Yeah, I can't do nothing about that. But, you know, that belligerent attitude in the comments, that's what bugs me.